if you've decided you want to show up online a bit more, you want to share something about yourself, you want to share your work and just get your stuff out there a little bit more, get it seen by people, generally speaking, you are going to need to have some good visuals, and you may want to share some video footage, and I'd really encourage you to do that, and we'll talk about this a bit more later. But to be able to do any of that, you're going to need to have a device, a camera, something to capture that footage on and share it. So we're going to start off by looking at those things, but one of the first things I wanted to tell you, whenever I see on any of the creative forums, whether it's in my own industry, the jewellery industry, or generic art and design forums, one of the first things people ask is not even what camera do they need, they ask what lens. They seem to think that this is magic camera lens that you're going to be able to use to get stunning images. Camera lenses just give that little extra, but you need to know how to work a camera, you need to be good at photography to be able to get good results out of your lens. And quite often when people are asking about the right lens to use, it's because they feel that the lens is going to fix all the problems, but actually it's the issues they're having are more basic than that. So although I do have a range of different cameras, I've got some professional cameras, digital SLRs, I very rarely use them. They're going to be great if you need to photograph some work and it needs to be print quality. Having a proper camera can make that a little bit easier for yourself, but it's definitely not a necessity. And during these videos we're going to focus on things that you're more likely to have with you at any given time, so your mobile phone and or a tablet. The reason for that is normally people will already have a mobile phone or a tablet or a similar device, because it's a multi-use piece of kit, whereas a professional camera they may not have, and they're expensive pieces of kit. But the other main reason is it's heavy and bulky, so it really puts you off having it on you and being able to catch things in the moment. You need to pre-plan even when you're going to be taking footage of things, and take your camera with you. And a lot of them are waterproof as well, whereas most phones these days are. Because of that, a lot of people that I know, and again looking on the forums, they seem to think if they don't want to use a digital SLR camera, they're going to use a compact camera, because they presume that a camera should be able to take a better image than a mobile phone. Although compact cameras are designated devices, their only main feature is taking photographs or recording video, generally speaking now, most mobile phones have superseded these, and even some tablets, to the point where most compact cameras have been phased out. It's much more difficult to even purchase one of these days. So your main choice tends to be either plumping for a digital SLR, so a full-size camera, or sticking to a mobile phone device or tablet. But like I say, because mobile phones are smart devices, actually the technology that's getting put into them, especially because they see the camera as one of the biggest selling points now, like I say, it's just far superseded compact cameras. So it's just something to remember, because like I say, you would find it more difficult to purchase a new one anyway, but a lot of people that I see, they think, oh, I've got one of those, I'll dig it out of the cupboard, I'm going to use it to take all my photos with. I just wouldn't bother. So let's say for this, we're going to be sticking and focusing on mobile phones. One of the things that's been happening recently is even the more entry-level mobile phones, the smartphones, have been upping their game with the cameras. So you don't necessarily have to have an absolutely top-of-the-range smartphone or smart device. This one is the Galaxy S9, so this is quite a few years old now, and we've got a tablet as well. What I would say is, generically speaking, not always, but generically speaking, a camera on a mobile phone is going to be better than a camera on a tablet. So it's something to bear in mind, and also because of the weight of a tablet, it's easier to find holders, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, tripod adapters to sit a mobile phone onto, and also it's easier to have in your pocket. So generally speaking, I would recommend using a mobile phone over a tablet. The reason I mention it is a lot of people I know, again, feel that the tablet would be a better choice because it's got a big screen and they feel they can see easier, and therefore they're going to get a bigger image, better image. But like I said, maybe check the spec on your cameras on the pictures that they're able to take, or even do a compare and contrast and decide what you think is best before assuming, because like I say, in my experience, mobile phones tend to be superior. If you don't have a smart device, or you have one that is quite a few years old now and you know that the camera just isn't going to produce a great image, I would either recommend really considering upgrading your phone. And like I say, I'm going to try and keep all this as accessible as possible, but the reason I say that is, for myself at least, taking good photos is a really, really important part of my business, and being able to share them in the moment online. So therefore, for me, my mobile phone very much is a work device. I buy a new one every 2 to 3 years, so although they are a big investment, I do tend to keep my monthly payments low. I don't tend to pay a lot of money outright for the device. I don't upgrade every time a new one comes out. But what I would say is, because normally I'm jumping a couple of models. So like I say, the one I'm filming on at the minute is the Galaxy S20. This is the Galaxy S9. And most times I get a new device that is a real difference in the quality of photo that it's able to take. So it's worth looking into different cameras, but like I say, you can get really good deals buying refurbished ones from companies like Envirophone, or there's a very good chance that you know somebody who has an old handset that will let you either try it out or buy it from them to use, or maybe even give you for free if they're not using it. So like I say, it doesn't need to be state of the art, it just needs to be good enough to take a nice image and for you to feel confident sharing it online. Through my community workshops, it's not uncommon for me to end up having to take the same photograph with a huge range of phones, because quite often the participants want to have a group photo at the end and they all come and give me their mobile phone, and there's a huge range of makes and models and ages, and the difference in the image is quite it's very obvious. It's very prominent when you see them side by side like that. So again, it's not necessarily down to an age thing, but just for example, I tend to find there's a huge difference between iPhone and Samsung. And personally, I prefer the image quality with the Samsung, even though in theory, through the branding and the stuff you see online, or when you talk to people presume that iPhone is the better quality of the different manufacturers. So again, it's worth having a little look into things if you are thinking about getting a new device. I am the person that goes into the phone shop and then takes pictures under their jumper, because I want to see how the phone and how the camera on the phone can cope with low light shots, because a lot of the time when I'm taking photography, it's not in the brightest of environments, and that's one area where you see a massive difference with mobile phones and cameras in general. Generally speaking, the cheaper the device or the older the device, the harder it is for it to take a good photograph in low light. It's not as much of an issue if you know that you're normally shooting outdoors and it's nice and it's bright and airy, or if you know that you're going to always be lighting things. But if, like me, let's say you work in a slightly darker area, or you want something that's going to cope in all situations, then you need to find a phone that copes well in lower light situations. So it's definitely worth having a play around with things and looking into it.